best star rappers of the year. So, cheerio, yell, scream bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Dougie Fresh. Wait a minute, you about 5 years younger than me. How do you remember Dougie Fresh? And that was when I was about 13. He came out.
How I remember Dougie Fresh?
Sandy was only about. Let's see, I'm 13. Sandy's about 16 or maybe 17. Sandy's not much older than me. She's 3 years and a couple months older than me. So we remember it. I mean, you couldn't have been but what? 5? No, you've been less than that. If I'm 8, then you've been about 3. How you remember Dougie Fresh? Let me see. When did Dougie Fresh come out?
87 or something like that?
Oh, 87. So you would have been what, 10?
Dougie Fresh?
The show? I was just curious. It had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
He's 56, so.
Oh, he's 56 years old? Dougie Fresh is old. I don't know when he came out.
First, I wanted to open up this talking about you was right about my little brother. About what he was. I wanted you to be wrong about him being killed and stuff like that. He's like when you told me.
Who's that? Who did you say?
My brother.
Your brother.
Yeah, remember back in the day you told me about my brother. He was like, your brother, he's gonna get. You told me he was gonna get killed. Remember you telling me?
Well,
that?
yeah, I told you that.
Yeah, when you told me that, I grew closer to him, knowing, what he was doing. But I always knew people that was doing, selling drugs and gang banging and doing all type of shit like that, and toting guns and all that stuff like that. And then when he got into it like that, and then you already seen it because you was already involved and hearing stories about stuff like this already. It kind of like drew me closer to him. And then when it happened to him, when he got killed, it's like, damn, he was right. And then it kind of put me in a different space. Like now, I just kind of like separate myself with everything he did, like with the car stuff. Like I try to get back into it, but at the same time, it's like I can't do it because it reminded me too much of him. We got close before he got killed. I mean, we was always close and I always protected him, but when he got killed, it's like I felt like I failed protecting him. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was his own grown man, he created his own problems. He did it. He had his own money, own cars, own houses, and stuff like that. Had way more than what I had, but at the same time, I felt like I needed to protect him because he called me a lot of times about situations he was in with my other brother, Scotty, and stuff like that. Other people in the streets and stuff like that.
I said Scotty's going to get killed. He got killed too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wish bad on people. I just telling you rationally where this is going. I know exactly what their attitude, who they hang around. Listen, this is going to be bad to say, but this is some black people we've been taught. Mama taught us this too. We're not better than anybody. Everybody's the same. And Mama taught that all the time. But the thing is no, I don't believe that everybody's the same. Some people are better than others in the sense that they try to live a better life, right? Mm-hmm. They're not trying to mistreat people. They do an honest job. So you were always better in the sense you would go to work. You did an honest job. Whatever you had, you earned in a fair way. You didn't do drugs. You didn't go and get people high and destroy their lives. So you were always better than them in that sense, right? So, and even though they had a lot more things, because that's all things are, just things. Stuff is just stuff, okay? But as long as they had a lot more stuff than you did, you were always elevated. And you got to remember, Darnell, you're much older than them.
Yeah,
you're much older than them. It's not like they were in your age group anyway, right? So the thing is because you're like 8 years older than Quita, I think. Hell, they're doing them. You're about almost 10 years. I mean, you're almost a whole generation removed from them, and you were partially raised with them, and then you partially was not. But my thing is this: you were always better. You did better. I mean, it's just it. It's the truth. You did better, and I could see that you would be okay. And I was like, no, these other ones over here, no, they're not going to do okay. They're not going to be at your level. They just aren't. And they're not. Even though dude's got a little money, he's still not at your level. That's just the end of the story. It's the truth. So, I used to hear stuff where they would say they think, oh, Darnell, he doesn't talk to us. He gets angry with us and all that. I mean, they would tell us stuff like you got into it with Keisha and all that. I'm like, I've never seen Darnell behave like that. I saw, they say, oh, Darnell thinks he's better than people. And I was thinking back in my mind, he is better than you. That's what I was thinking about. He is better than you. Why? I mean, he may not say it, but to me, he is. He wants an honest life, an honest living. He gets married, he raises his kid, and he lives a nice, decent life. He's not a dope fiend. He's not selling drugs. He's not prostituting. He's not a pimp. He's not robbing. He's living a clean life. Yes, he's better than you. That's why you want to say to Quita sometimes. I just want to say, but I heard her feelings. But she was the main one talking about he thinks he's better than us. And dude would tell Keisha that about you, that you thought you were better than them. It was straight. What was straight? Yeah, he said that once. That's what Keisha said to me. Wow. I don't care if you repeat it. It's the truth. That's what she said to me. Dang. And that's the saddest thing that Keisha passed, because she really kept them together. She really kept them together because she's older than them, right? And she kept them together. Now, they kind of fell apart, right? So that was a freak thing that happened. And Keisha is shameful too, because she really was such a good person. The thing is I think they were even jealous of her. I'm just going to be honest. I'm telling you the truth. I think they were a little jealous of her too. And I know for you, they thought, said things that you thought you were better than them. And I'm like, he is better than you. Even though you got more stuff, he still lives a better life.
I mean, I don't know, was I carrying myself different?
Yeah, you have to carry yourself different. You don't walk around a thug. You can speak English properly. Wait a minute. You can speak English properly, You can communicate. You don't walk around with a thug, but your pants hanging down to your behind. Of course, mama wouldn't have had that, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't sag your pants down, and you don't do this old pimp walk that they learned from the 1970s black exploitation movies. That's where a lot of that nonsense come from. Prior to the 1970s, you don't see black males walking around a limp, and we're going to pimp walk, and we're going to, now look at them. They learned that nonsense in the 1970s black exploitation films where what was his name? Because that was when I was growing up. What was it? Fly something? I forget. The little black exploitation films. But anyway, they learned a lot of that from these films. What these stupid Negroes did was they imitated it. They imitated the black exploitation films. You dig, and what's happening, what's all. Black people didn't really talk, black people didn't really behave like that. But what was the black exploitation film? Let me see real quick some of them. Black exploitation.
Let me chime in on that, Dwayne. I got a dude. Let me chime in on that. I got a dude that works with me. He's from what is he? He's not. I don't want to say Chinese. He's some type of whatever nationality, Asian nationality. A couple of times he came to work and he did, how they do that little that Negro walk, that walk like
yeah.
He did that to me a couple of times. So I'm like, the second time he did it, I said, man, come here, man. I said, you got that off a movie, didn't you? I said, you never. I said, you never seen me walk like that, have you? And he was looking like. I said, yeah, you never seen me walk like that, so you seen it off a movie. So you ain't never seen a black man actually walk like that. How many black people work here? So if somebody did that thing with their eyes, with that, what I mean, the look, how they used to do with their eyes when people imitate Chinese people with their eyes,
right,
and all that,
right.
If I did that to him, then he'll feel some type of way. But that's what we seen on movies. I'll go into him and do like,
right.
He'd be like, because that's what we all seen on TV, and them talking off beat and shit like that. I mean, talking off tone and all that. So he will feel some type of way. So I'm like, man, I had to pull him to the side, like, man, you do that shit again, We're gonna be having some ching chong. We're gonna have some ching chong, goddamn it, egg rolls,
Right,
snake
he's not
eyes,
gonna like.
all
He's
that.
not gonna like the
He's
response.
not
Yeah,
gonna.
right.
He's not gonna like it. I'm coming there with goddamn egg rolls and act like I'm eating them, and I really don't eat egg rolls like that. I'm gonna embarrass you. So you might want to chill out with the old Negro shit you see on TV because that's not how we act, buddy.
And that's right. That's not how we act, and we have to tell them. And a lot of them may want to engage in what they call hip hop because hip hop primarily comes from black people. I heard that some people talk about, oh, it comes from Latino. Latino's not a race. So I don't know where the hell when you say blacks and Latinos, because I don't know what the hell a Latino is. Are you talking about black Latinos? Okay. Are you talking about black Hispanics? Who are you talking about when you say Latino? Because they're white people who are Latino. Okay, or they're white people who are Hispanic, and then you got the Native American, Latino, Hispanic. But the point is this: black hip hop comes primarily from black culture. That's African American culture. Whether some people joined in these Native American Latinos, they joined in the black culture, and they want to act like they were one of the founders. They're not. This comes from black culture. And what they do, and a lot of these people see hip hop and they want to imitate it, like a lot of these Native American Mexicans. I have to say Native Americans, that's their race. Mexicans not their race, it's just the country they come from, right? Because they're black Mexicans. But the thing is that a lot of the Native American Mexicans want to imitate what they consider to be hip hop, and you'll notice they'll get their cars like black boys, young boys do. They start doing all this, what's up, what's happening, all that nonsense, like they just come from prison, right? So they start imitating a lot of the black what they consider to be stereotypes. It's like the gay community. Have you noticed white gay men tend to imitate black women, or with the stereotype of black women? And snapping his fingers and the yes girl and all that stuff. They start imitating what they think is the stereotype. But my problem is that's not how black people act. We don't act like that. And what you're doing is you're reinforcing a stereotype about us. How about I take a stereotype about your people, reinforce it about you? You won't like that too much. So, yeah. But but black exploitation films like Shaft, and you got Sweet Back. What was it called? The Mac. You had I remember the Mac. Yeah. You just had so many black exploitation films where you had Blackenstein, you had Blackula, you had what is it? Dolomite? Yeah, Dolomite, yeah, and you had all that stuff, right? Now, the good thing about black exploitation, and they're not really exploiting, right? You could say they're exploiting, but what they're doing is they're creating a genre of films that cater to black people, right? And they're being entertaining, right? I don't think that they were intending that black people, like Richard Roundtree and all that, I don't think they were intending that black people would take these films and imitate it. I just don't think that they say, hey, let's have this black exploitation film. Let's go ahead and have these Negroes imitate what they see on television, right? So, the problem is ever since then, you have Pam Grier, you had all these people. Was it Marvin Van Peebles, the senior in part of that? I forget. The
light-skinned guy?
He was kind of brown skinned.
Mario Van Peebles?
Yeah, his son's light skinned. He's half white. So. But he's got a dad, right? And I think he was involved in it. What's that? I'm trying to think of the famous football player, black guy, who hung out with Ali and hung out with Richard Pryor. I forget his name, but Lawrence he was Taylor? Involved. Great, huh?
Lawrence Taylor?
No, the football player.
Lawrence Taylor's a football player.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But he was big time in Wall. I remember they had Cleopatra. They had a lot of these black. No, I'm not thinking about Fred. Let me see. I forget what his name. Anyway, he's a very famous football player, and I don't know why I can't remember his name because it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, thing is I don't think they intended black people to go and imitate this pimp walk, and I'm a pimp, and I'm a gangster, and I'm a G, and all that. You know, they were actually just trying to create some films that were entertaining and for the black culture. That's all. Because black people many times didn't get any type of exposure or didn't get much exposure in traditional films. So they said, we'll create our own. And that's what they did. And I don't think that they were trying to tell black people, hey, you young black people, imitate this. Get you a few hoes, beat her up, pimp walk, carry you a gun, right? Yes. So you get Curtis Mayfield, you know, he comes with, and he's quite genius, but he creates music too, and it caters to that kind of concept that you should be a pimp and you should talk to women like they're hoes, you know. And so that they carried, their kids saw that behavior, right? And so, which is me, it would be me. And so many of my, I guess yours too, imitated that because that's what they saw, right? And then when the people my age, their kids, right, imitated too.
Yeah.
So it keeps
when you get in that mode, when you want to get in that mode, that George Jefferson like mode, you get in that mode. It's like it's almost like they program you to do that, even though you don't even do that. So when you want to just act like over dramatic as a black person, you just do that. And then when other people do it, they're like, we see other people do it, like, what the fuck are you doing? But that's what we do when we just want to over dramatic ourselves being
overly over the top, all right, over the top. Man, the police did shut your damn mouth. Just so overboard. And one of the reasons why they do is because of the women, right? Because the women many times are emotional. They see that in their mothers, and these black boys think that they can behave like her and be very emotional, loud, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm all that old nonsense. That's a perfect way to get killed. You gotta remember you're a male. You gotta remember that's right. No, that's a no. You gotta remember you're a male. You cannot do what women do. Right? Because you're physically stronger. When you go out there being aggressive and I'm going to tell the police, I'm not going to do what the police tell me, they're going to kill your ass. That's just how that's going to roll. Now, I'm not saying the police should go around killing us, obviously, duh. But I used to tell clients all the time. When the police tells you to sit down, sit down. When the police tells you to shut up, shut up. Do not fight the police. Right? Do not flee from the police, right? And I had another one. I said, do not fight the police enough, and do not argue with the police. Don't do any of this. And then you always have some silly Negro talking about, well, even if you did, they'll do this. Even if you slap their hands all aggressive, even if you did do all of this. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what they do. Even all this old over the top, overly emotional bullshit. Even if you do, they still gonna kill you. Yeah, but this is the point. You don't increase probability that they're going to kill you. So what you're trying to do is de-escalate. You don't want it to get to that level. That's true. They can still kill you. But don't give them a reason. That's what you do. When some of them don't need a reason, well, just do what you're supposed to do and hope you make it through. Mm-hmm. That's the best you can do. But don't you become aggressive or be combative. You want to argue with them. And, people would tell me all the time, well, the police is wrong. I'm sure the police is wrong. Maybe wrong. I don't know. I'm sure you're probably right. I mean, from your perspective, right? But out in the streets is not the place you battle the police. You battle the police in the courtroom. You don't understand the forums. So when the police or he or she's out there, that police has more authority, more believability than you do. So you don't fight the police in the streets. You fight the police in the courtroom. And I used to tell clients that all the time. Do what your police tells you to do. See, one of the reasons why I think and this is not all black males, obviously, but one of the reasons I think a lot of black males have issues with the police is because the police is intimidated by black males, right? Right. Then you have hip hop culture. A lot of it's very aggressive sounding, right? Then you have this things, I'm a pimp and all that, these stereotypes. So when this guy at work is is engaging in stereotypes again, he's basically creating negative images about us.
Mm-hmm.
That's his problem. He doesn't understand that. So when these police, they're human beings. They shouldn't treat people based upon negative images, but as people do, and they're not going to change. What people think of you and your reputation, they treat you based upon that. And that's just how it's going to work. Whether they should do that or not, that's what people do. It's wrong, but that's what they do because they're human beings. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like all these stereotypes being about us, because negative stereotypes reinforce us to be at harm. And I think it increases our probability for us to be harmed. So it's not only how we act sometimes, it's also the images that they have about us. That hurts us. We've got to recreate new images, right? So and that's important, because I hear all the time people tell us that we shouldn't care what others think about us. But the truth of the matter is, like what Carter G. Woodson was saying. Listen, if people don't really value you, you pretty much become negligible in history. Basically, they will destroy you.
Wipe your ass out.
Yeah, wipe you out. You can't compete with these people. The people will wipe you out. You're not Superman. And I tell black people all the time, you don't have the education because you don't push for it. You don't have the money, resources. You don't have the weapons, the guns. You don't have the military training. You don't have allies internationally. You don't have a goddamn thing. Don't you ever think about going to war with anybody at this time. We have not properly secured our own defense. Right. So if people come after us and start killing us, what are we going to do? We'll fight back, sure. But we don't have the bombs. We don't own the airplanes. We're going to be slaughtered. We're going to be slaughtered. So why don't we do this? Focus on these changing our images, right? Change your image and create things of empowerment, right? For instance, black people, we should be going internationally and start getting to know our people in Ethiopia, South Africa, what have you. Sure, you're going to find some ones that don't want to be part of you, but those are many who do want to be part of you. Create, international ties, Pan-Africanistic ties. See, when you talk like that, that's a way of empowerment instantly for you, right? Where's the best coffee come from? Some of the best coffee comes from Ethiopia, right? Listen, you can say, these white people are mistreating us in the United States, Ethiopian friends. Stop selling them coffee.
Yeah.
Boy, these people go crazy. Stop selling their coffee, stop selling their beer, and stop giving them cigarettes. Those three things, they will lose it on you, right? They will go crazy. They do anything like dope things. It's like, I'll do it. Okay, I'll treat you well. Yeah, because I'm going to stop giving you your drug, coffee.
But we gotta be connected with them over there though, like with this giving them the coffee beans. How do we do that?
How do you get connected with black Ethiopians?
Mm-hmm.
We go over there, introduce ourselves, and it's important that's another reason why the culture calendar is very important, right? It's very important that we have the culture calendar, because when they want to learn about Black Americans, they could just go to the culture calendar, because it's a summary, a little booklet of telling us what we believe in, what we do, what we value. Their book, there's a little summary book. It's African Americans value this. African Americans value education. African Americans value unity, preservation. African Americans value wellness and blah blah. And they can just read it. They don't even have to ask you. Wow, African Americans value this, and this, and this. You see what I'm saying? So they start understanding who we are. And we all go and participate and start understanding who they are. It's cultural exchange. And plenty of them want to see you. They want you to spend your money over there. They are begging Black Americans to please come to Ethiopia and spend your money. Yeah, we want just your money, but also we'll get to know you. We can know. Oh my goodness!
I went to school with some in Vincennes, but now it's more Nigerians and people from Ghana.
Well, yeah, Nigerians are coming over in a boatload. But we really need more than Nigerians. Those people from Niger, we need them. We need South Africa, Zimbabwe. We need more. I would say yes, Black Jamaicans, even though That's the issue there. With some of them, and Black Americans kind of crazy. They need to get over each other and get to work. Get to the Blacks in Canada. Get to the Blacks in England. Get to the Blacks in, I don't know, maybe some Black people in Switzerland. Go to Brazil. Go everywhere and make strong ties. Now, let me just tell you this. When you do that, you are now threatening America. Or you're threatening not America, I should say. You're threatening the power structure in America, which is wanting to always push Black people down at the bottom, right? America has many times raised other groups to just push Black people at them. They've been trying to totally keep Black people down. When you start creating international ties, that elevates you. And not only is there a threat to those who want to push you down, now you can make the whole system crumble because you now have power globally. You're not just powerful here in the United States. Now you have power globally. That's going to upset a lot of people because that's the last thing they want. And I, with Dr. King, he wanted economics and he was doing international. They killed him. Malcolm X, same thing. When he was going international, they killed him. I think he was meeting Kwame Nkrumah, and all these people. They killed him. Whenever you start going international, and you as an individual, that's dangerous. What you do is go as a group, okay, and you get to know your people again. And once you do that, and you will see most Black men don't walk around pimping. Black men don't do that. I don't know where people get that from. That a stereotype. Just like as a stereotype of Black women, I'll tell you off and I'll snap my fingers and cock my neck back and forth. Black women don't behave like that. There is no country that Black women behave like. I'm talking real Black people don't have white blood. Okay? These are real Black people who don't have white blood. They don't behave like that. I don't know where you get that from. So I hate that stereotype. So when white gays imitate that stereotype of Black women, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Don't do that because that's a negative image about Black women, and most Black women don't even behave that way. That's why I don't like it. Most Black women don't even behave that way. That's why I don't like these stereotypes. How about we make stereotypes about you white people? Bet you won't like it. And I know a couple of them you will not like. So, it was interesting because I remember when I was chatting, I've been on social media for a long time. And I remember the one bigot came and said that, well, you Black people, you act like monkeys. And it was the funniest thing because I showed him a picture of monkeys and I said, monkeys tend to have thin lips. Black people don't. Monkeys tend to be very, very hairy. There are some Black people who are hairy, but most Black people tend not to be so hairy, right? And monkeys tend to be very, very hairy. And monkeys tend to have flat butts. Now, I don't know, maybe Black people all have flat butts, but most of them have something back there. And then you got a photo of a monkey. And then I said, you can look at the monkey. And I said, if you shave a monkey's hair, what color skin do they have? Does it match my skin or yours? You're the monkey. And so Unga Bunga. I said, you're the ape, Unga Bunga. We're all evolutionary. They call us all apes, right? We're primates. But they were trying to degrade Black people and call us monkeys. And you're closely related to monkeys genetically. Well, maybe so. But you look like a monkey. You favor the monkey more than anybody I know. I mean, if you shave that fur, you shave your skin, it looks just like yours. And I said some other things that weren't so nice, but once I was done with that, he was so mad, I said, yeah, don't be trying to degrade us. But basically, he wanted to push a stereotype about us.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times they reverse it too.
Yeah, they wanted to push a stereotype about us. And I was like, nah, I don't think so, buddy. Let's talk about you. But so we're going to have to be empowered. And one way to do that is we got to deal with these stereotypes. And we also got to go globally and deal with, empowering ourselves. It's very dangerous to do it individually, but you should do it anyway because it's that time. Black people have to be elevated. Now, you wanted to talk about this issue of the drug crime bill, right? Of
Yeah.
the era 1994 crime bill, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's a piece of work. He really is a piece of work, boy. You know, you had all these black people who were, many of them were supportive of that crime bill, because after the what was it, the crack epidemic,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, some government people were actually fueling the Contras with cocaine, implementing targeting black people. See, they do stuff like that. Nixon even said he's going to target black people for marijuana. See, the U.S. government has targeted black people repeatedly, right? We're living in a government that has historically targeted us to attack, right? And so I think that a lot of that has led to a lot of depression, a lot of black people turning on each other. I think that's a lot of problems when black people can't get to the source of their distress, right? You can't battle the government so much. You know, sometimes you don't feel that you can. And that creates problems. But as far as the 1994 crime bill, I mean, it was a lot of problems. I mean, for instance, they had, you know, we talked about the 3 strikes. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm going to give you a life sentence for committing 3 felonies. And the felonies could be small. I forgot the dollar amount. They're still small. But the thing is you commit 3 of these felonies, whatever they go, you got a mandatory life sentence. You got to go to jail for the rest of your life.
Damn, what is it? What they consider life? 30 years? I mean, 65 years?
Mandatory life sentence to me meant mandatory life sentence. Not 25 years meaning life.
Forever.
I think it's mandatory life, period, in the story.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I've always interpreted that statute to mean life means life. Okay. Yeah, and so people could do silly little things, not something major, you know. For instance, suppose you stole something from a car and got some charge change, and I don't know, it was X amount that constituted a felony. So I don't know what the dollar amount was. Maybe it's $100 or $150, whatever. That's a felony. And that could send you to prison for the rest of your life because you already got 2 felonies. So if you do a third one, you know, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. That's crazy.
Even though that second one was small, it's still a felony.
Yeah, well, sometimes it could be very small stuff and still get a felony. And so, yeah, this is crazy stuff. The sad thing is many black people went along with it. They went along with it. That's crazy. It's like they go along with what these white Democrats want, even if it hurts black people. Because, you know, of course, by the way, you got to go along with them. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Because the other side's mean. They racist. And the side you're with is not racist. Then they shut their ignorant mouth. You know, it's amazing. But, yeah, that was one thing. The 3 strike and you're out. That hurt black people tremendously because the bulk of the people who were actually getting sentenced were black people. And you got to remember, a lot of times the government targets black people. All right. The police will target black people. So disproportionately, they're already targeting and harassing black people, especially black males. Right. So you got your police disproportionately going after black males. Then you got your prosecutors who will disproportionately send black males to a harsher sentence. Right? So you got these things, and so therefore black males are disproportionately in prison.
So did it start in Arkansas, or did it just start all around the United States?
What do you mean?
I heard he brung drugs in from somewhere.
What?
I heard Clinton brung drugs in from somewhere and dropped them in like in Arkansas.
I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I don't know.
Not him personally, but you know how they run it.
You talking about the Iran-Contra affair with Reagan was actually with Oliver North and all of that. I was a kid when that happened. But yeah, apparently they were selling cocaine in the inner city to fund their war. Reagan. Reagan, okay. No, yeah, that was Ronald Reagan. He claimed, I don't know anything about it. Yeah, sure you don't. But the thing is, again, there was another targeting of black people. See, they have targeted black people repeatedly. And they targeted black people when it came. It is constantly they're targeting black people, right? So when black people talk about some of these things, let's not talk about race. Race doesn't exist. That doesn't matter. But yeah. After you've done your damage, and it's okay for white Democrats to talk about and point to the Republicans about what they did. But let's talk about also what you white Democrats did to black people. You did tremendous harm, and you know it. You know it. I know it. And you know it. You probably did more harm to black people than Republicans ever had.
You know what I think they're doing now? I think they're putting fentanyl in the black community.
They probably are. They're wanting the black people getting hooked to that.
I mean, see, I know 2 people that died off fentanyl.
Yeah, but this is the thing with that. Black people have to, first of all, black people got to get their kids the hell out of these regular schools. See, these kids are not learning what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is truth. They're not learning this in school. Okay? They need to know you've been targeted by the United States government multiple times. This particular culture has been targeted. It's true. It's not like we're lying about it. They need to know, don't be using fentanyl. If you do understand and I'm not saying the government's intentionally placing those drugs there, but don't be surprised if they were. Okay? And so my thing is, be aware of how you've been targeted for marijuana use and then go on to jail. Now, why do they want all this? Why is Clinton and them all, we're going to be hard on crime. We're Republicans. Oh, yeah, we're going to be hard on crime. Well, what they really were doing is actually fueling cheap labor. These people in the prisons tend to work for peanuts for major corporations. So they can't go always to other countries. It's too expensive. A lot of times to go to the country, get these cheap labor, then you got to bring it all over here to sell, and you got to bring it there. They say, you know what? Why don't we incarcerate people? Basically make them slaves. They're almost like slaves, not quite. And then we'll get our products done for cheap, for nothing. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about. Fundamentally, this is about cheap labor. They want to basically, and what do you think they're bringing these illegals? Because a couple of things, cheap labor. They can't get black people to do a lot of the cheap labor anymore. Okay? So they're bringing all these illegals in here. And also they're bringing illegals into this country because the Democrats realize that they're losing population in their blue states. When they lose population, that means they're going to likely lose proportionate seating in Congress. That means you're going to lose seats in Congress. That's what that means. Okay? That's the major reason they're bringing all these illegals in. And they're placing them on top of black folks.
Because we got some at our job, and I swear it's some of the girls that's working there, they look like they 16 years old.
They probably are.
I'm like...
And look what the Democrats do. Look, the Democrats, Biden, he doesn't give a damn if they're rapists. And I'm not saying they are, but I'm just saying he doesn't care. He's not. They could be rapists, they could be murderers, they could be jobless, they could be any goddamn thing. He doesn't know. You see, this is how much he exposes us, how much he doesn't give a damn about us. So, it's just amazing. I'll talk about his ass I'll talk about all of them. Trump, I'll talk about all of them. But I'm just appalled at Biden. And black folks don't say a goddamn thing. You know why? You want to know why they don't say anything? A lot of them, because they're getting paid by white liberals, donors. That's the reason why they don't say anything. They don't represent, and that's one of the things black folks got to understand. When you see a black face, don't think that person is necessarily speaking for you. And when they talk about black people, what we need, tell them kiss your ass. We need you to shut your goddamn mouth. Where are you getting funding? Who's funding you? Who's your donors? Because once you tell me who your donor is, you dirty son of a bitch, I'll tell you who in the hell you're working for. And it's usually not black people. That's why these Negroes are always talking about, we should help everybody. Lord, have mercy. We's going to help everybody. That is the most stupid thing. It sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good, doesn't it? But it's the most stupid thing to ever do. It's a stupid move on the chess.
Don't even help your own people.
You don't even help your own goddamn people. And then they'll sit and say, well, he's going to help black folks too, because he's going to help everybody.
Scared to
Well,
death.
let's think about that, idiot. I always tell people, let's think real clearly about your Uncle Tom Sambo Pickaninny move. Because you're being paid by white liberals to say that, right? So let's see, you got three people. A, B, C. A's got, I don't know. Say A's got 10 cents. B's got 8 cents. Okay? And say C's got about, I don't know, 5 cents. A keeps 10 his or her 10 cents to himself or herself. B does the same with the 8 cents. Well, here comes C, the colored one. I's gonna help everybody. I's gonna give a penny to A. I's gonna give a penny to B. Now, C's got what? 3 cents. A's got 11 cents. B's got 9 cents. Now C's got the goddamn nerves to talk about that A and B owes C something. A and B owe C. That's what C's gonna cry. You mistreated me. No, you mistreated you. You mistreated you. They don't owe you a goddamn thing, and they're gonna put their foot on your damn neck. You did that to yourself. You see, and black politicians, white liberals know this. They know that. As long as you helping everybody, you black people can never be empowered. You have to help everybody. So you're not raising yourself relative to them, right? You're never going to be a threat to them, to A or B. They know that. Because you got to help everybody. And that doesn't make any sense, like I was telling you earlier. Listen, if you're helping only you, or let's just say I'm only helping myself, and you are helping everybody, who's going to win this race? Eventually, I'm going to surpass you. Because you're using your energies to help everybody. And I'm using all my energies just to help me. Eventually, I'm going to surpass you.
You're going to exhaust your shit.
That's right. And these black Negro politicians know that. And so it's a way to continually disadvantage black people. That's why they talk that old Uncle Tom. I was going to help everybody. White liberals like it that way. Keep saying stupid Uncle Tom, Negro, Sambo, Pickaninny nonsense. You don't go into the goddamn doctor if you're a broken leg or a broken arm. You don't say, hey, doc, help me with all of my body parts. Do you? No. You go about that broken leg or broken arm. The doctor, you focus on that. That's what listen, I don't need you to worry about everything. I need you to worry about this right now. But these stupid the people, they're going to the doctor and say, hey, worry about every single body part. Right? You worry about everybody's or everything. And so when people hear that, when I'm not here just to help blacks, I'm here to help everybody. Listen, when you are the president, you are to represent everybody. That's true. Right? Yeah. That's your job. But when you're a congressperson and your district is primarily black, your duty is to push forward a black agenda. That's your goddamn duty. And if you don't do it, your stinking ass needs to be put out of office as a goddamn traitor. You do. Black folks need to. That's why it's important, Darnell, for you to vote. When you hear a Negro talks like that, any Negro who talks like that, and they come from a black district, right? They're not pushing forward a black agenda, but they want black people to vote for them. You vote also. Absolutely, you vote and you put that Negro out of office and tell that son of a bitch you're a dirty traitor. You're a dirty, stinking, filthy, no good, low-life traitor. You took money from white liberals to shit on your own people. See, you got to understand these black politicians. Many of them they're first loyal to white liberals who fund them. Okay, then they're loyal to themselves. And black people, you might be third or fourth. But you're not primary. You're not a primary issue here. Okay? So you got to understand how they function. They are loyal to those who give them money. Then they're loyal to themselves. They are not loyal primarily to black people. And that's the reason why it is absolutely crucial that black people vote and you get these sons of bitches out of office. Even if you had, and you can record this, you can play this to Mars, to Jupiter, hell, Venus, I don't care, to infinity. Even if you got to get rid of these stinking ass politicians by voting for a Republican, I don't care who it is. You do what you have. You may have to temporarily step back and then find an undesirable, like a Republican. And I'm not saying all Republicans are bad, but I'm saying you may have to choose a Republican to get that stinking Democrat Negro out of office. Now, you get them out now. I don't care what you got to do. You get that son of a bitch out right now. Okay, because they're taking the biggest advantage of black people, and they're doing it for white liberals. They're doing it for white liberals, right? So you and themselves. So you get that son of a bitch out immediately, even if you have to vote Republican. Vote Republican and put that Negro out. Tell you son of a bitch, you'll never see it. You use your own people for white liberals and yourself. That's what you did. And so you know what? You'll never see that office again. You stinking Negro. And what you do, while that Republican or third party's in office, you make demands of them. Don't expect them to fulfill it. That's okay. Because what you're going to be doing is regrouping. You'll tolerate this Republican or whomever is in office. You'll tolerate that person. But what you're doing is strategizing now. And you're regrouping, and you're going to find your own black candidates who come from your communities and who you're going to elevate and say, we need you in office. And you better keep your loyalty to us because we're the ones you represent and we're the ones who vote for you. And if we get the slightest idea that you're up there trying to kiss the Republicans' ass or Democrats' ass, whomever's ass, you see what we did to that Sambo before you, don't you? You see, we're willing to vote Republican. Now, you see what we did to that Sambo, don't you? We're going to do it to your ass too. We will do it to your ass too. And we will never forgive you. Your political career is done. And that's how you do it. You've got to move politically like this. That way, we'll be able to address the issues of mass incarceration. I don't expect Republicans to do it. But you may have to use the Republican on the chessboard to get rid of the stinking Negro who's done nothing but exploited our people for these white liberal Democrats.
Yeah, when does the voting season start?
They're going to be, there are some elections, I think, this year, but the major election, of course, is next year. They are terrified of Donald Trump. They are terrified of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that about his mugshot. Man.
He did that so he's really smart in marketing. You know, he really is good at that. And he did that intentionally.
In Fulton County, right?
Fulton County, yeah. He did that. When I looked at it, I said, this fool, he's something else. He did this intentionally so he can sell t-shirts. I said, I bet he's gonna sell t-shirts and buttons now. And then, damn it, if I wasn't right, that's exactly what he was doing. He was selling people t-shirts and buttons and all types of. Listen, for one day after his indictment, 1 day or 2 or something, I forget. He got what, $4 million, raised $5 million. Every time they indict this man, he gets more money and more followers.
Publicity all day long.
That's what he's doing. He's marketing. You know, when you indict him, you're just making him the biggest. He's overshadowing Biden right now. You all keep going after him, but what you're not understanding is you're making him a star.
He loves it too.
He loves that. He loves all of it. I'm like, you stupid ass people. Do you understand? He's outthinking you. He's making you talk about who? Him. And therefore, you're not talking about who? Biden. You're not telling us. And he's screwing up big time. See, I think Biden's got investments in Ukraine. I really do believe that. I absolutely do believe that he has investments in Ukraine. And you mark this day. What's today? The August 27th, right? 2:23, 12:27 p.m. You mark this day. There is no way Ukraine's going to win this war. Russia will win. They absolutely will win. No doubt about it. You better believe what I tell you. They're going to win. And you got to remember, they're right next door. You think they're going to tolerate somebody joining NATO who possibly can have nukes right next door to them? You crazy? Well, maybe other countries were allowed to do that, but and Putin said, "Not you, Ukraine. You're not doing it." See, what you got to know about Ukraine, real quickly, is that United States supported a coup. And what is in 2010 in Ukraine? There's a person, I forget his name. He was democratically and fairly elected in the Ukraine, right? Barack Obama, and I believe it was Barack Obama. They went in there, and there were already people there who was against this person being elected. And the United States, from what I understand, helped stage a coup d'état, whatever how you pronounce it. It's French. Basically, they want to take over the government, right? So they staged a coup and took over the goddamn government. This is what you're seeing right now. And guess who they were? Nazis. That's why I was trying to figure out where they taught. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway. But yeah, I was trying to. But who's a white person who's of Jewish heritage? I don't know if he's practicing the religion or not. But I was like, you all had this plan. You don't want us to know that you, America, you helped install Nazis. You put a Jewish man, and they did. I believe they did. But I know for a fact that American people, America, helped fund this coup. So you got to ask yourself, why? Why? America was helped stage a coup in Ukraine. And listen, did you know, you know, and I'm not, let me just say this. I am not pro-Putin. You want to talk about a goddamn killer. That's a killer to his heart, right? I mean, hell, you talk about Putin in Russia, your life is going to probably end, right?
Damn.
But, oh yeah, I mean, he's a killer. It's coup d'etat. That's what it is. I don't know why I want to say coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. But anyway, it's French, right? And basically what happens is there's a takeover, right? It's a sudden and violent and unlawful, we got to remember unlawful, seizure of power. That's pretty much what it is from a government, official. It's basically we're going to take over. We might use the military. We might just be, regular gangsters. We made thugs. But Obama was involved in that. Obama kicked his leg out. He did nothing for black people, really. See, this is what they usually do. They put little symbolism like this black woman married to a white man in the U.S. Supreme Court. You don't have one black family on the Supreme Court because they don't want you to see that type of image of a black family. That will empower you. They need you to go marry all these other people and give all your resources to them. When they talk about, I was talking to you about interracial marriage. What people don't understand about that, it's not that humans can't marry other humans. It's about power and resources. It's about accumulating and withstanding and keeping those resources and empowering your group. That's what this is all about. And I don't know why people say, it's a love. Shut up. You're so goddamn stupid. Marriage was never about love to begin with anyway. It was about a man who had a daughter, right? He was getting old, and he says, when I die, I want my daughter to be taken care of. So he would go to another man and give a dowry, usually some money or whatever, and say, listen, would you promise to marry my daughter, take my daughter once I die, so you care for her? That's what marriage was about. It didn't have a damn thing to do with love. Then you had these stupid asses running around about, it's love. I mean, Mama told me, Mama said. Mama said that's the dumbest reason to ever marry anybody. Love. She said to me, it's better to marry for money than love. Love is the dumbest thing to marry dumbest reason to marry anybody.
Mama told you that?
Yeah.
By way.
Huh?
How old was she when she told you this?
I don't know. She's
how old was you?
60s. I don't know, 60s. She said it was the dumbest thing. I had a lot of.
How old was you?
I don't know, in my 30s, perhaps.
Oh, for real? Oh.
Yeah. And she was just telling me, don't you ever marry for love. It's better to marry for money than love. She said, there's only one reason you should ever marry somebody. I mean, only major reason. And that's compatibility. You're compatible. You don't got to love the person. You got more things in common. You respect each other. You communicate with each other. You know what I'm saying? You act as one. She was just saying, you don't even have to love the person, but you'll stay together. You'll grow to love the person and you'll stay together. And that's true. You will. The compatibility is the most important thing. Now, I'm not trying to get married because I am by myself, but the point is I might be married. I don't know. But I'm just saying, the point is that you don't marry you don't do things like a contract. Marriage is a contract, right? I don't know if you know this or not. Marriage always has three people, especially in the United States. It always has three entities. The two people involved and the United States government.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. tells you if you can get married, and it will tell you if you can get a divorce. You got to go to the government to get married, or they assume that it's okay to get married. Then if you want to get a divorce, you got to get permission from the United States government, usually a court. Then you said, no, we decided to get it. No. It's not official until the government, the court said so. See, marriage is a contract. It's a contract, just like any other contract. Okay? And that's why people need to get this love shit out of it. Mm-hmm. Because that's why they're getting divorced. Because you're going around thinking you should marry somebody based on love. You're stupid. And your marriage is doomed. You better marry for compatibility, and that should be the only reason you marry. Now, so these Negroes going around, they want to interracial, because you got to remember, a lot of these Negroes, they're pleading to be with white people in their families. That's really what they want, is to be accepted. Okay, that's why they always cry. Oh, no, bigotry, racism, and they didn't allow me in their little store and over there and in their little academy, and always whining. What other group is whining? Most of them say, you don't want me in your group. I don't want to be in your goddamn group. I'm going to create my own. That's what respectable cultures say. But what's the Negro do? Oh, they said they don't like us. Stop it. Because I think a lot of them are whining and crying because they want to be part of white people's family and sleep with them. I really do. They feel so inferior. Oh, we love them. I know you do. You love anything but black. With your stinking ass.
I got a buddy. I got a buddy. Oh, man. Me and him fell out because I was supposed to go
anything white.
He started dating this white girl, and they got married, and I couldn't make it to his wedding because I had to work and some shit, and plus my money was funny and everything because I was going through something. Nigga stopped talking to me. I don't know if the white girl got in his head, but shit, we was cool way before.
Well, the white girl probably did.
Yeah, so I'm like, we don't talk, we don't do nothing. I'm like, he was like my brother. Like, his car fuck up or shit, I go fix it. You know what I mean? If he on the side of the road, you know what I mean? Like we did.
Let me tell you something about white women. All right, you listen to me. I'm telling you the truth. They're some of the most sneaky women on this earth. I'll say it. You can replay it again. Some of the most sneaky. It's some of the most sneaky women I have ever encountered. Always calculate. Black women are calculate too, but they're not, to me, on average, as so sneaky. There are many times to come out and tell you. Bam, 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 that's what it is. Some are sneaky, but I have found white women way more sneaky, surreptitious, more deceptive, more clandestine, more calculating than black women. Now, you think that white woman didn't tell him, whisper in his ear about you? Of course she did. It's not only he may have had an attitude, she whispered. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what you shouldn't do. If that's just me. If it was me, I'd never forgive him. I tell you, move on with your life. Because there'll be another white girl that you'll do me the same way with. You know what? We're done. One, white girl's not even part of our culture. Two, I knew you way before this white girl even came in the picture. And 3, that you told me you're so disloyal, you will go turn on me, not only for an outsider, but a white one, not even part of our culture. You already told me that. So you're a dirty son of a bitch. And you know what? We're done.
Yeah, I don't even reach out to the nigga.
No, never. And let me tell you, it's going to come crashing in. Watch what happens. It's going to come crashing in.
No, it's not white women. It's like we're just touching on like politics and stuff, period.
I don't even talk about white women.
You hit the
most of them, I don't even talk about white women because they're not a factor. You know, I do say this, though. White women were 40% owners of black slaves. 40% of all black slaves were owned by white women. She's never been your goddamn friend. You stupid Negro.
Man,
I don't care what face she shows you. She's not, historically, she's not your friend. And you know what they say? Oh, well, black women, they're loud, obnoxious, and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something about black women. Not all of them are like this, but most of them are. If you're a strong man and you're about your business and you're doing the right thing, most of the time, not always, most of the time, black women fall back and let you take care of your business.
Mm-hmm.
They fall in line. They don't always want to be picking up the damn trash, and they don't want to go on the rooftop and put the damn shingles. She shouldn't have to tell you that's what needs to be done. If you're doing what you need to be doing, she's less aggressive, less angry, less assertive, less everything. She lets you do your thing. But the problem is you got a lot of black men who are just weak, and quite frankly, a lot of times black women resent. I mean, I got to tell you to take out the trash. Why the hell she's got to tell you to take out the trash? Don't you see the goddamn trash is overflowing? You shouldn't tell her. Nobody has to tell you certain things. If you're doing what you're doing, guess what? Most of them will fall back. Their attitude will improve. Everything will improve. All those stereotypes you got against her, you'll see a lot of that just fade away. It just fades away. See, men have a lot of power. A lot of power. So when I hear women, I'm dating a black woman, she's loud and obnoxious, you let her know, and you mean it. If you continue that behavior, being obnoxious, loud, over-talking me, don't want to carry a decent, we're done. And be done with her.
Yeah,
be done. You don't sit there and play games going back and forth. I told you I'm not putting up with that nonsense. Since you want to behave like that, guess what? Find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder for her to find a good man of any color. I don't care, white, black, or any color. It's easier for you to find a good woman, a good black woman, than it is for her to find a man of any color who's good. And who she can identify with.
You still hear me?
Hello? You talking to me?
You still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
So, so back to Clinton. Clinton and that crime bill, 1994, 1995. Democrats knew exactly what was going to happen, and they knew disproportionate number of black males would be locked up. Did that stop the Democrats? No. Did it stop these Negro coons who were paid by white liberals? Because you got coons who are paid by Republican conservatives too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about these particular coons here. They were big time supportive of it, and guess what? It devastated black people. It devastated. You know, like I was telling you, in the early 80s, you had black people, the Democrats primarily, came with this idea. And Dr. King talked about this before he left. He died. But, you know, men couldn't be in the home if the woman was going to get some type of welfare. That devastated black people. Devastated black people. And these kids just got totally out of goddamn control with dad, no father, no male figure around. And you got all these women talking about acting, I do it all by myself. I don't need a man snapping their fingers and all that. Well, the government cut their asses off in 1995 and restricted it to 2 children. That devastated. Now these kids that she didn't need a man, she pushed them away. Guess what? They're out of control now. That's when you start seeing a bunch of killing and shooting in the streets of the black community. That welfare reform was the first. And these white people knew what they were doing to black people. They knew. But as long as people were getting their little Section 8 and food stamps and some type of financial welfare, they went along with it. Betrayed their own culture. Betrayed their own culture. And look at the thing. So that was the first thing. Second was crack epidemic came to the black community. Right? Then the third thing, the Democrats, what they did was Crack was Reagan. Then here you come, Bill Clinton with this crime bill, disproportionate, just devastating black people, black males, just devastating. And these sons of bitches knew all three of these things will harm black people. All three. They knew it. So don't think that your government officials. That's why it's important for black people to vote. I keep telling black folks, you get your ass out there and vote. Oh well, they get in there who they want to get in there. Look, and that's the most stupid thing in the world. I mean, that really is stupid. But because they obviously don't know how this works. I always tell them, vote on a local level and then go in there and count the votes with them. You can take a seat. Most of them will let you see votes come in.
Yeah, normally they think when they talk about voting. Ronnie, do I still get an echo?
No.
One up, I still get an echo.
You don't have an echo at all.
He said I had an echo on that part. But a lot of them think when you vote, it's when you vote nation for the president and stuff like that. A lot of them not thinking locally. But now that when we talked the other week, I'm thinking, locally you can affect things, and on that big level, let them do what they do. But as long as you protect it locally, but you can the mayor we can pick our own police and all that. They can govern us and stuff. It hit different. I'm like, that makes sense.
Because mostly you're going to be subjected to the local rules, not federal rules.
Yep.
95, 96, 97% of your day-to-day issues, traffic and police and government building, it's local. It's either state or it's the local government, a county. It's one of the two. Usually you're going to deal with the state or the local county that you deal with. Okay, or city that you're dealing with. These are most of the rules you're going to be subjected to, not the federal. Now, as far as a lot of black people seem like they don't understand, the founders did not believe that most people had enough intelligence as to who to vote for. Well, a lot of them didn't believe that people were intelligent enough to know how to vote for a president. So they took it out of our hands. So what they said was, look, we're going to have electors. Electors are people who come from the legislative branches of the states, right? So what we're going to do is, these people are stupid as hell. Most people don't know how to vote. So what we're going to do is, we'll let them vote, okay? And they can tell us who they would like to have us, the electors vote for now. But the electors ultimately decides who's going to be the president. So that's why you got electoral college. Another reason they got electoral college is because they wanted to empower certain states. For instance, Rhode Island doesn't have a lot of electors, right? Just imagine that if we didn't have an electoral college, right? And I'm not saying we should necessarily have it. Some people would argue the opposite. But if you didn't have the electoral college and I'm running for president, I would never go to a state like Iowa. I would never go to Rhode Island. I would never go to Delaware. Why? They're small population states. I'd stay with California. I'd probably go to New York, although they're losing their population. I don't think they're top three anymore. I think it's Florida, Texas, and California. I think the top most populous states. I would go to all the populous states, the first 5 or 10. I wouldn't go to these small states.
Damn, they moved out of New York?
Oh, big time. I think New York is number 4. They used to be number 1 or 2.
Damn.
I did not tell you, man, they bring these illegals in because the Democrats are losing population in these liberal states. It costs too much. It's too much to live in these. California, you crazy? Yeah, New York, are you Texas. Crazy? Guess where they run into? Republican red states. Wait
a minute. They bring their ass over here.
Yeah, they run into like Indiana. They run into Georgia. They run into Florida. They run into Texas. Texas can't stand them. Cannot stand them. They don't want them over there at all. But so it's like Democrats again. They put themselves in a very bad situation again. Let me see the state. So if you didn't have the electoral college, what would happen? You just go to certain states. You'd never go to others. So what they wanted also to do is be able to give all the states some type of power, some type of say who would be the president of the United States. That's one of the also another reason that they have the electoral college. That's why you'll see people go to Iowa, right? Iowa doesn't have a huge population, but it has a decent number of electoral votes, right? So the people don't actually vote for the president anyway. The electors do.
And a lot of people moving to Wyoming too.
Yeah, they moving to Wyoming. They moving to help wherever it's cheaper to live with a lot of land. That's where people are going. And so New York has lost so much population. They're bringing these illegals in. And once they lose population, guess what? You lose congressional seats. Also, you lose what? Number of electors. So when your population decreases, you're not going to get as many seats in Congress, and you're going to lose electors, part of electoral college. The Democrats want these people to stay in here. And do you think they're checking if they're criminals or not? No, Democrats aren't. They don't give a damn. They don't. Population of states. Let me see this real quick. I want to know the list of population. Who's got the most people? California?
Maybe Cali.
See, I would say California, Texas, and then it's Florida. That's what I would say. Let me see. Yeah, I'm right. It's California, 39 million, almost 40 million. You got Texas with almost 30 million. And then you got Florida, that is 21 million. New York is now number 4th.
Dang.
People are leaving these liberal states.
Wow.
You know, liberal states want to give all this welfare around, and and this is, let me tell you, there's a double-edged sword with them. Liberal states want to give all this welfare, right? And I believe in helping people. I absolutely do. The problem is that people start becoming resentful because they have to get up and go to work, and I'm like, damn, you giving all these people welfare, and I got to work like a dog. And then this is the bigger reason. People start getting taxed the hell out of. So Democrats, they're going to help you out and give you food stamps, but you better not make over $45,000 or $50,000. They're going to tax the hell out of your ass. They are going to tax you back to the goddamn poorhouse. They'll tax you right back to the poorhouse. And I'm going to tell you something really, really interesting, because they had to pay for all these social programs. Republicans to me are different. They don't want to help you at all. I don't want to give you a goddamn thing. Starve, you could die. They don't care. Republicans, if you're poor, oh well, not my goddamn problem. You can starve and die as far as I'm concerned. That's how Republicans are. But if you make some money, you get rich. Oh, I'm your friend. Keep all your money. Keep all of it. I'm going to keep all my money. I'm not paying taxes. I don't want to pay for anything. That's how they are. That's how they are. So which poison do you want? You want the poison? That's why I say, if you poor, you better be a Democrat. If you got some money, you better switch over to the Republican Party. So you can keep your goddamn money, But if you're all about money, I would think you would. That's why I'm not offended by Black Republicans. I understand what they're doing, because they don't give a damn about all these social issues. All they care about is their money and keeping their goddamn money. That's just how they are. And many times they don't want to share. They'll help other people, but they don't want you to force them to help people. They want to decide who they're going to help. They want to decide what churches they'll help. They want to decide if they want to help the Goodwill Salvation Army. You don't force me to give my money to anybody. So that's their attitude. Also, it just depends on what you want. But as far as the crime bill is concerned, it did a lot of harm. You got that 3 strikes you're out rule. And then you had what was the other issue I want to talk about, because that was mandatory. Yeah, well, I already said the mandatory sentencing. You had the population increase. Black people were disproportionately targeted. I remember 60 crimes. I remember this. You had about 60, and I forget what all the offenses were. You had about 60 offenses that were eligible to be on the death row. They increased the number of damn offenses that you can be on death row for.
Dang.
60. This is your boy Democrat. This is your boy Democrat.
60.
This is your boy Democrat Clinton. Republicans love that. They don't give a damn. That's more slavery labor for them. I shouldn't say that. Not all Republicans think that. But just say that seems like a lot of that's how they act. They increased it, and I think they also I think they either lowered the age or they increased the offenses for kids that they could get the death penalty or something like that. I forget the other one. I've written down something. I was trying to find my paper. But, that crime bill was bull. It did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You got to remember they're targeting black people. They're targeting us repeatedly. And then what they do is they think black people are going to be okay with symbolic gains, like this black woman on the Supreme Court married to a white man. How in the hell is that reflective? That
Who we talking about?
Ketanji Jackson, the black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court, first black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court, married to a white man. How in the hell is that reflective of black culture? And is that what you want us to do? Because if we all do that, we're going to die out in this country because they're not putting a lot of black people back in here. Is it, Marion, why can't you have a black family up there? Why didn't you choose somebody who had a black family and encourage black? See, you see what I'm saying? That's the shit Democrats do. Underhanded shit like that. Symbols and images. And then they'll come and tell us, we put the first black woman in. A black woman married to a white boy, and she's probably more white than he is. That's who you got up there. And we're supposed to clap? Are you out of your goddamn mind, you dirty dog? Let me tell you something. That's they want you to be happy with symbols. See, that looks good. That a black face from the U.S. Supreme Court, that's a symbol. Here, let me show you another symbol that we're going to make Juneteenth a national holiday. Why the hell would you do that? Why would you do that? You know why they did that? Because black men are leaving. Black men are leaving the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party know their ass is in trouble. They are in trouble. But why did you think? See, another symbolic? See, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't help black people at all. How is that helping black people? That now you're going to make a federal holiday that really has nothing to do with white people. If you want to tell the truth, if you want to involve white people in Juneteenth, well, let's tell the truth of what they were doing to black people during Juneteenth. As black people were leaving and walking off plantations, white people were killing black people.
Oh.
Didn't tell that, did they? Go research it. Black people were swimming in swamps. I'm free. White people were going out killing, blowing their heads off. Who's going to do anything about it? Who's going to protect them?
I ain't heard nothing about that. June last year, this year Juneteenth, and last year Juneteenth. Man, people here. I'm quite sure they were doing it in Atlanta too.
They were killing black people up.
Juneteenth got the shirts and all this.
And I'm fine with Juneteenth. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Juneteenth. It's kind of fictional because it was December. I think, of the year. I forget where you have the 13th Amendment. I got to go look it up. Anyway, that's what really allegedly freed. But black people were freeing themselves all along. Nobody gave black people their freedom. See, that black people were already, see, that's history. They don't want to tell you. Black people were already rising up and freeing themselves. See, they don't want to tell you that in the history books. Galveston, Texas, where you get Juneteenth from, they say, well, they were the last to learn of their freedom. But what they don't tell you is black people were in many states were already rising and taking their freedom. Well, who was going to stop them? White people have been involved in a civil war, right? These white men, they can't come back and tell black people what to do or even fight them. So black people, look, they were already uprising against white people. It's not black people were docile and being slaves. So when these white boys went off to fight these other white boys, right, in the North, a lot of these white boys didn't come back. Guess what? Black people rose up even more and walked off the goddamn plantation. See, they don't talk. They act like they gave black people their freedom. They didn't give black people freedom. They didn't do a damn thing for black people.
Man, they freed the slaves in that day. They said
they didn't free slaves.
Oh man,
no, sir. 13th Amendment outlawed slavery, sure, but they didn't free black people. Black people freed themselves. Black people freed themselves. They were already rising up and freeing them. And see, that's another part of history. They were, black people were freed by white people. You're a goddamn lie. Let me help you out. The Emancipation Proclamation did not free one black person. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation didn't free one black person. It did not free one black person. What it did was, it said, those of you who are not part of the Union, your slaves are free. Well, the people who are part of the Union are not part of the Union. They're saying, I don't listen to your Emancipation Proclamation, idiot. We're going to war. What are you talking about? You can't free them, and I'm about to clean your clock. You can't free. So did it free the black people who are not Union? No. Were they in the states that are not part of the Union? No. These white people didn't say, oh, we're going to listen to Abraham Lincoln, who we're about to go to war and hope we want to kill. And we're going to listen to him. And this is the thing about the Emancipation Proclamation. In states who were part of the Union, and I think it was Maryland, in states that were part of the Union, they got to keep their slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't free black people.
Damn.
If you were part of the Union, you got to keep your slaves per the Emancipation Proclamation. And see, what they don't also tell you about, Abraham Lincoln didn't come up with a Emancipation Proclamation by himself. Southerner governors were coming up with Emancipation Proclamations too. Go Google it. The Southerners had Emancipation Proclamations too. What they're trying to do is get black people on their side. If we go to war with these other white folks, we need the black slaves to be on our side. So here comes a lot of the Alabama, I think Alabama, Mississippi, one of them. We're going to free slaves. You fight with us, and we'll give you this, and we'll give you that, and the other. We really need you on our side. And we don't need you to kill us. So while we fighting these white people up here, you may be in the back as slaves, and you may come after us and kill us too. We can't have that. So the Southerners were coming, governors were coming with Emancipation Proclamations too. They're jockeying, trying to get black people on the side. So black people, most of them went with the North. Abraham Lincoln's side. And the Abraham Lincoln's government, they agreed to give black people land. If you go on our side, this is what we'll do for you. Black people went on their side, and their sons of bitches. Let me tell you what happened. After the war, black people was beginning to get land. Well, Abraham Lincoln got killed, and it was Andrew Jackson, I believe, or was it Andrew Johnson? I think it's Jackson. Was it Johnson or Jackson? It was one of them, the redneck. Anyway, he became president of the United States, right? And he says, I'm not Abraham Lincoln, and I'm not giving you N-words a goddamn thing. I don't care what. You remember, he's part of the South. He lost. You got to remember, he lost, right? Let me see. Is it Andrew? Let me see. Hold on for a second.
I think Jackson.
I think it's Andrew. Yeah, it was Johnson. It was Johnson. I don't know why I keep on wanting to say that white trash.
Jackson was he came later.
Yeah. I'm talking about. I mean Andrew Johnson. Now you got to remember he comes from the South, right?
Johnson.
Right. Yeah. Because after Abraham Lincoln got killed, right? So he assumes the presidency, right? What is it, the 17th presidency, president or something? Okay, so what city was he from? He was born in what? Tennessee or somewhere? I forget exactly where that old redneck dog was born. He was born into poverty. I think he was born in Tennessee. But anyway, he comes from the South. By the way, you know Maryland is the South, don't you?
Yeah.
You know Maryland's considered part of the South?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people don't know that. They think that Maryland is part of the North. No, actually, Maryland's considered lower than the East. It's beneath the Dixie line, the Mason-Dixie line. So therefore, Maryland is considered a southern state. So when you talk about the South, you actually talk about Maryland. But the problem is, culturally, they're not part of the South.
Yeah, the East.
You look them in like that, we're part of the North. But anyway, so Johnson comes into office, and he supported the South. So when he becomes office, he says, hell no, I'm not adhering to anything Abraham Lincoln agreed with you Negroes. I'm not giving you a goddamn thing. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't give black people a goddamn thing.
I thought this was America.
What's that?
I thought this was America.
Who's playing those things?
Me.
Oh. So Andrew Johnson didn't give black people a goddamn thing. So black people are due. See, reparations to do for the slavery that black people gave. Then it's due because you made an agreement, right? Then you have, and let me tell you what Andrew Johnson did do. He told the black people, listen, black people, go back to your former masters and help them out. And the money that you earn, because your master's going to have to pay you, we're going to put in a fund, right? And we're going to do the freedmen. We're going to put in a Freedmen's Bureau. That's what we're going to call it, a Freedmen's Bureau. So black people, okay, listen, go back to your former masters, help them with their land, help them plantation like you used to. This time they're going to pay you. And they're going to take that money. We're going to take the money that you would earn, and we're going to put part of what we call a Freedmen's Bureau. A Freedmen's Bureau. And what's going to happen is the Freedmen's Bureau is going to be resettle black people in their own land, get their own everything. They can resettle them. Well, guess what? That black people many of them went back to the former plantation masters and worked. And some money was given to the Freedmen's Bureau. Absolutely. White people stole every dime. Every goddamn dime. Didn't do shit for black people. These are some dirty motherfuckers. Just dirty, grimy dirty. Just dirty and grimy. And black people, you should forget about that because that happened many millions of years ago. Forget about it, black people. Why are you talking about it? Well, I got a problem with you. If you're supposed to give land and you're supposed to give freedom, give access to certain things, I don't care if it was a million years ago, our family, we didn't get it. We probably could have given it to our family right now had you people did what you're supposed to do. But since you didn't do it, I'm going to make a claim you need to go on and get to it. Because that's what they're wanting to do is tell black people, don't talk about things that happened 200 years or all these years ago. But the problem is your government harmed these people. I hear all the time people talking about, well, I didn't do it. I'm a white person. I didn't. You goddamn idiot. It's not about you. It's about the government of the United States not paying its debt. It's not about you individually. It's about this United States government not adhering to its contractual obligations. So I hear them all the time. Why y'all talking about that? It happened a long time ago. Because the United States government has failed to adhere to its duty, its obligations, contractual obligations.
So how did Jews get their reparation?
Well, rightfully so. Adolf Hitler, one of the interesting things people don't tell you about Adolf Hitler is this. Did you know he helped the Ethiopians fight against the Italians? He did. He hated black people, though. He said the problem with you black people is you're inferior and you've been made to be beneath and workers for the white man. You're nothing but a damn servant. And that's what he thought of black people. You're nothing but inferior servants. And you're never going to be anything but a damn servant. Right? Mm-hmm. The problem is a lot of black people are nothing but servants. It's true. A lot of black people act like that's all they are, servants. It's like they don't want to be, and I'm not saying he's right about all black people. It's just that that conditioning seems like what has been, we've seen it. We've seen it with a lot of black people acting like a goddamn slave. Namely, many of your black politicians. You're a servant because you get money from these white people. You're acting like this old redneck stinking ass Adolf Hitler. You acting like just what he said, that you're a goddamn inferior. How dare you sit there and do the agenda for these white people and harm your own folks? You acting like a servant to Master John.
Who's that nigga on that nag? Who's that nigga on that nag?
Now, I don't use the N-word, but let me just say that. Have you ever heard me say, oh, I know you use it. I'm just saying. Have you ever heard me say the N-word?
No, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
My daughter my daughters don't use it.
Good. It's good. I stopped using, I actually have never really used the N-word. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because that's more conditioning. It creates that, what Adolf Hitler says, he says that inferior, servant, lower, lesser than mentality. And I don't like that word. I don't want to always call black people. Because we use it for endearment. Oh, please, when you get mad at other black people, you also use that word in a very negative sense too. Right? So that word comes from white people. You know what I do? I give them their word back to them. No thanks, but no thanks. I don't need that bullshit. But this is the thing. Adolf Hitler stole from the Jews. What people don't tell you about Adolf Hitler either, not only the Ethiopians, because he hated the Italians, he only helped the Ethiopians just to beat the Italians. It was a chess. It's not like he liked black Italians, Ethiopians. They don't tell you that Adolf Hitler's primary, from what I understand, his primary targets were not Jews. His primary targets were communists. That's who he primarily targeted. But he did take money from the Jewish community. He killed them and put them in concentration camps. Communists, he killed on the spot. They're not going to even make it to the concentration camp because those sons of bitches are dead on the spot. He took their businesses. So all the wealth and the items that he confiscated. And so that's what white Jews were wanting. You know, when people talk about Jews, I wish they would say white Jews because not all Jews are white, and the original Jews are not white. Okay, I need people to understand. When we talk about Jews, you think of a white person, but that's not the original Jews. These are people. A lot of them are people whose family converted to Judaism way, way, way long ago. But yeah, he took the money. He took their possessions. He treated them horribly. Absolutely. But something else they don't tell you about Adolf Hitler. He did that to the gays, although a lot of people in his little ranks were gay. Yeah, oh, absolutely. He had so many gays around him. That's why everybody says they thought that Adolf Hitler was gay secretly. He got gays all around him. Almost all. How many of his commanders are gay? I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, you go research. You like, well, I'll be damned. Everybody gay around here. Adolf Hitler, you sucking people off too. I mean, but I mean, he's got all these gay people around him, right? But he doesn't. Supposedly, he hated gays. He had them wear pink triangles. That's where we see pink being associated with women. See, historically, pink is a masculine color. It's a male color. Okay. Why? Because if you look at a flame, a red flame is real hot, but when it turns to pink, it's super hot. And a man can go super crazy if he's pink, right? So pink has historically been a male color. Blue historically was a woman's color. Blue is calming, the oceans, mild. Blue has always been a woman's color. But Adolf Hitler changed that, didn't it? Pink is now a female's color. So guess what people do? They go to the store and buy, oh, it's a girl, I'm going to buy pink. You see how stupid people are?
They switched it.
He switched it. And then stupid asses go to the store and follow along. Oh, I'm going to wear, okay, he's a boy, he's going to be blue. Who did that? Where did you stupid shit? Colors don't generally have gender association. Where did you learn? A lot of that comes from Adolf Hitler, believe it or not. Go Google it. Go Google it. A lot of that comes from Adolf Hitler when he imposed it on his people. And these people brought this shit over here in the United States. And these stupid these bastards follow along. And still today, you'll get, well, pink is a girl's color. Where'd you learn that? It's always, where did you learn it? I didn't ask you if it's always been. I just want to ask you, where did you learn that from? It's always been that. I didn't ask you if it's always been. Who taught you that? But that's where that comes from. They don't know that. But, you know, Adolf Hitler thought, he thought black people were inferior. But when he went to the Olympics, right, Jesse Owens, black man, they were on the track, boy, and he Adolf Hitler, we're superior genes, we're white and all that. Well, Jesse Jackson was on those, was running track, and he whipped all those people's ass, white people too. He was so pissed off. He saw a black person, Jesse Owens, show superior skills in track and field. I think he left after that. I think he was so disgusted by it. He was sure white people were going to win, and Jesse Owens whipped his ass. I think Jesse Owens met him, and Jesse Owens shook his hand or Adolf Hitler's hand or something like that. I forget. I think it was in Jesse Owens' memoir.
Oh, for real?
I think he met Adolf Hitler. Yeah, he shook his hand and all that. But anyway, yeah, Adolf Hitler was a piece of trash, but he wasn't the only piece of trash. You gotta remember during his era, in the 40s and stuff. Do you know how the Nazis came to power? I'm gonna tell you how they came to power real quickly. And I got ready to go. We've been doing this for a while. But anyway, the Nazis come to power, right? Because Adolf Hitler, when he was young, he's a nobody. But he speaks very well. And he can motivate people. But anyway, everybody believes he was also a gay prostitute in Vienna. I believe it was Vienna. Everybody believes he was a gay prostitute. He's so much in art and he's around gays all the time. But anyway, what happens is this organization, I'm just going to be very, very brief. This organization, what they do is go espouse very, very, very negative things. You got to remember at this time, Germany's the powerhouse. Britain and Germany, they're just like powerhouses in the world, right? So everybody's flocking to Germany. You know, I want to be part of the Germans. Look at their power and they are brilliant in so many ways. And it doesn't. I think that comes from this. I don't know. Vehicles, but anyway, the Germans are just so. Their engineers are just brilliant, right? And in this time, they're really, really brilliant, right? So everybody's flocking to the Germans, not only because of education, but culture and financial reasons. All type of people want to live the German life because they're so, you know. Blah, blah, blah. Do you know? You know, the English language is mostly German, right? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, German, English. The English people didn't come up with the English language.
Good Morgan and all that. I took German and I took
German.
And
English is mostly German and partly French. It's a bastardized language. It joins both German and French together. That's why the English people didn't come up with the English language. It's a German language primarily with French. That's what it is. What happened is people were actually going to war in that area of where Britain is, and that's how these languages fuse together to create the language English. But everybody's going to Germany; they're flocking, right? And so, what is it, SAS? They're going around, and you got to remember, Germans are very liberal, and you know they do burlesque, which is really stripping on the streets, and stripping on the stage. They do all this liberal stuff, and here comes this organization. I preach a lot of conservative stuff, Aryan Nation type stuff. We're better, white people are superior, and guess what? People say, "Take your silly ass on somewhere," and they just kept going on. So people used to go around and beat them up, and so people got so bad at beating them up, people started feeling sorry for them, saying, "Listen, you busted, break their lick, you killed them, blah blah blah," and they have a right to speak. You don't gotta like it, but you don't have a right to beat them up. So people start feeling sympathy for these people. That's the main reason how they come to power. People they would go out, say outrageous things so that the Germans would beat them up. And then people started feeling sorry for them. That's true. So that's one of the reasons they come to power. It's not the only reason. But that's how they come about. Now, but you got to remember, Adolf Hitler isn't the only son of a bitch during this time. Okay? He's not the only son of a bitch. You got Mussolini. He's a stinking tyrant, son of a bitch in Italy.
Heard about him.
Right? And initially, Adolf Hitler really revered Mussolini. Then, of course, Adolf Hitler thought, well, says, Mussolini, you're nobody. I'm better than you. I'm more powerful than you. You better listen to me. So Mussolini can't kiss Hitler's ass. Then you got Chairman Mao of China. This man is crazy. Okay, because what he wants to do is espouse communism. Communism is the idea that we all work together and help each other equally, right? So we all got to get up and go to work in the morning, and we got to produce things so that everybody has a right to share in it. This is the problem. Not everybody's going to go to work. Some people are going to get out of work. Some people don't want to work. And guess what? You'll end up having a situation where certain people will benefit and won't do anything. Okay? And there are a lot of other problems with communism. But it's supposed to eat everybody's equal. It sounds good, but it doesn't work. But anyway, he's making people get up, go to work, and basically people are starving. All that food is primarily going to people who he wants it to go to, not to the people who work for it.
Damn.
So these people are literally starving in China, eating dirt. That was in the 40s, not too long ago. 80 years, not even 100 years ago.
Damn, son.
China
Where'd you
was
find this?
China, the Chinese were eating dirt. They were eating dirt. Dirt, dirt, dirt. America is the reason why China came to power. But anyway, Chairman Mao, he's a son of a bitch. Okay? Chairman Mao, he is a son of a bitch. He really is. He's going around massacring people, anybody who challenges him. And he killed, or he's responsible for killing, I think, around 30 million people. That's more than Adolf Hitler. Yeah, what is correct? But he is the only Chairman Mao, and Adolf Hitler and Mussolini are the only sons of bitches at this time. The other son of a bitch is Joseph Stalin. Now that is a crackpot there. That's another crackpot. This son of a bitch is crazy. He's in Russia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. See, had Joseph Stalin, he killed millions upon millions upon millions. He was crazy. If he thought you were a political opponent, he'd kill you. He didn't play. He did not play. But Joseph Stalin, he I don't know, 20 million, maybe 30 million. I forget how many people he's responsible for killing. But if Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler would have been together, they probably would have ruled the world. They probably would have destroyed the British. And America could have not messed with them. It is only by a stroke of luck that Adolf Hitler pissed off a bunch of white Jews. White Jews came to the United States and they created a nuclear bomb. It's only a stroke of luck. Had he not done that, they would have created a nuclear goddamn bomb in Germany, and Adolf Hitler, we'd be always speaking German. We'd be eating sauerkraut. Because that son of a bitch, Adolf Hitler, was certainly bombed our asses, all of us.
I remember
Back to the Stone Age. But they almost did it. It is just a stroke of luck that he pissed off Einstein and so many other white people who moved to the United States. And with Oppenheimer, by the way, there's a movie Oppenheimer
I
right
want to
now.
see that.
Well, that's what that's about.
Oh,
And there's a movie about Oppenheimer, and Einstein was pissed off about that goddamn bomb. He says, we don't create science or discover science to kill people. They all say, let me tell you something interesting about Einstein. He's a weirdo. Einstein used to write essays to his penis. Who does shit like that? That's some weird shit to do. I mean, he was fascinated with his own penis. He was just a weirdo, right? But he was really smart. It's interesting because I always have to talk to Black people about theory. Black people like to think that theory means guess. In science, theory doesn't mean guess. And I told you about that. I say in science, theory does not mean guess. You're not guessing a goddamn thing. The theory means you're explaining what's happening. And guess what? People keep testing your theory, and your theory keeps being proven true.
mm-hmm. It makes
Right?
a theory.
Yeah, that's why it becomes a theory.
Einstein was a Pisces, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
March
He's a
14th.
weirdo.
March 14th.
I didn't know that. Good God, he's a guy weirdo. I don't want him close to me. But but the thing is, he helped to split the atom.
How the hell you do that? That's crazy.
Now, I don't know all the mechanics of doing so because I've been reading research. I'm like, how the hell you all do that? I want to know all the intricacies of it and everything. But they help split the atom. And you got to remember, you got to split the atom. That's a lot of energy when you do something like that. Right? So, you know what's really interesting about the atom? You want to know what's really interesting? Almost everything we see is made up of atoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the atoms are mostly empty space. Theoretically, we should be able to walk through walls, but we can't because of magnetism.
Matter.
Yeah, magnetism prevents us from being able to go through an atom. But anyway, I can go on and on about science. I don't want to even go.
Well, I love science. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So, but Albert Einstein was really upset. Albert Einstein said something really interesting because people ask him if he was an atheist, right? And remember what an atheist is. An atheist is not theism, God belief. Is a person without a God belief. They don't believe in a God. Okay? And think about it. Most babies, when they come out, do they believe in a God? No. Technically, you can say a baby's an atheist because they don't have a God belief, right? That's taught by God belief, right? And so Einstein, because he rejected the Bible, he said they're a bunch of primitive stories for primitive people, right? He said, my God is the same God of Spinoza, who's a white Jewish person too. And what Spinoza was a philosopher, right? Way old ancient philosopher. And Spinoza said he didn't believe in a God either, except he believed everything that lived, the earth and everything that lived, the air, the sun, everything we know is God. He said nature is God. There's no real particular God out there, but nature is. So Albert Einstein actually believed in nature as being the God. There is no theoretical real God species, but everything you see and everything and everybody, we're all God. We're all part of one being, and we call that God. Really interesting thing is he was not religious. I don't know why they keep calling him a Jew, because although he came from Jewish heritage, he was not practicing the religion. Judaism is a religion. I know they want to make it like it's something you can be born with. No, people are not born religion. Okay. Original Jews were black people. Okay. But I always want to act like being Jewish for white people that you're born with. Your mother's a Jew, then you're a Jew. I don't know where you get this now. Or it's in their script. Shut up. Children are not born a religion. Quit imposing religion upon people. But Albert Einstein was not religious, right? He was not. But to a huge degree, he had more morals than a lot of these sons of bitches who are religious, because he was very upset about people dropping the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, he was upset. He said, we don't do science for that. That's not what we do, is try to hurt people. But then, you got to look at the government too. The government in the United States is thinking, we're not about to fight a war with you people. We're going to end it real fast. Because one of the things about the Japanese is they will kill themselves just to kill you. They would go and kill themselves to kill you. Okay? Because what is the name? Hiroshima? What is this name? The emperor's name? Because he's the next son of a bitch. Adolf Hitler's a son of a bitch. Mussolini's a son of a bitch. Chairman Mao's a son of a bitch. Joseph Stalin's a son of a bitch. And then Hiroti, whatever his goddamn name is. He was the emperor of Japan. He's another son of a bitch. He's a nasty little bastard. He goes into China, right? He goes into China and slaughters those people. Takes their resources. He's just a nasty little piece of work. But yeah, I mean,
he was the emperor.
Yeah, the emperor of China. What's his name?
Hiro Toruto.
That's it. Yep, that's him. That's him. He was a nasty son of a bitch. He really was a nasty. Now listen, you know what's really interesting is after America kills about 50,000 people, Japanese, with these bombs, they dropped 2 bombs.
They dropped 2?
Yeah.
Oh, and Hiroshima?
And Nagasaki.
Nagasaki?
One on Hiroshima and one on Nagasaki.
Oh, yeah.
So they killed all these people, right?
I seen with that movie about that stuff.
Yeah, they killed all these people. And then what did the United States do? Well, let's be your friend. We'll help you build your Japan. And that's what America did. Help build Japan. That's why Japan comes to power. That's why they got all this greatest technology. America helped build that shit for them.
That's what they do in a lot of the wars, don't they? Like they fuck up the city and then rebuild it.
Rebuild them.
Better than ours.
Right. But of course, by the way, we get to put our military base here too. And by the way, you do what we do. You do what we tell you to do.
So I see how they do that. It's politics.
Same thing with South Korea. Same thing.
Yep.
South Korea and North Korea, they've been separated. And they're the same people. But America, Seoul and South Korea, and so listen, look how you're flourishing. We love you. And by the way, we can put our military base and you do what the hell we tell you to do, South Korea. That's what you're going to do. That's how America works.
So North Korea, they they have no communication with the outside world whatsoever.
That's what they claim they do, but I know they do.
You think they do? I'm like the
Of
people
course they
here.
do. Of course they do. Remember that stupid ass Rodman was going that the basketball player was going to go see this little pudgy man in North Korea.
Kim, like, didn't he go see him?
Dennis Rodman was going to go see the pudgy man. What's his
Yeah,
name? Kim Jong Un or something like that.
Yeah, Kim.
Kim Jong Un, I believe his name is. He's
Yeah,
fascinated with Dennis. He's fascinated with Dennis Rodman. He's fascinated with basketball. He loves basketball. He likes to see black people playing it. He's fascinated. He likes American movies too. He likes a lot of Western ideas. But yeah, he's a little pudgy bastard too.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go to one.
Remember, he kept threatening. He was tossing missiles, and he was threatening to toss a missile in South Korea. And Donald Trump went over and told the little pudgy little son of a bitch, "You can do it if you want to. I will be at the goddamn shore and toss one my way or their way, and I'm going to wipe your ass out." that Donald Trump that was not playing with the little pudgy man.
You don't like him.
No.
You don't like him at all.
Anyway, doing that, I'm going to have to go.
All right, nice talking to you, Dewan.
Good talking to you. You take care of yourself.
All right, right on.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Hmm.